Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogia Monster here, and welcome to WTF Live, or Why the Fascination. We were just winging it tonight, so as people come in, I'll put up my email address. You guys want to come on, or actually, what I'll probably do is post the link, so you guys can just click on and come on, as you wish, if you want. Sorry, it's reading. Isaac, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Again, no guest tonight. I am working on something for next week. I think it's going to be pretty cool if it works out the way I want it to. Either way, it's going to be a good show. I'm just trying to make it an interesting show for next Tuesday night. I've got a really good guest lined up, and looking forward to it. I'll let you guys in on the secret a little later on. So, Cal, how's it going, man? Yeah, probably the end of the week. I'll give you guys a heads up because I'm gonna advertise the shit out of this because I think it'll be a good show. So again, Mike, great to see you, man. Welcome back, brother. I'm happy to see you. I meant to talk to you before now, but I'm glad you're here, man. Team Ogie on Monster. Cashy, right on, man. That's funny. Hey, Felix, good to see you. So again, anybody wants to come on tonight, let me put up my email address. Just email me right there, and we'll try it that way first before I go and put up the link right in the chat, because I don't know, that's spooky. I could get anybody coming on here. Hi, Ray. Pappy, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. So yeah, Pappy, I know you had volunteered last week. If you feel like coming on, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Again, so next week I will have a good show lined up for Tuesday. I've been working on that. I didn't even advertise anything for today because I just figure we'll pop on and see what happens. It seems to be working out pretty good that way. People are popping on and we're making a show out of nothing, which is cool. I'm glad that people are willing to do that. Yeah, what else is new out there? Belle, hi, hon. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, my moderators, thank you for doing what you're doing. We're pretty laid back here, and I don't think you guys have to moderate too much, but I'm glad you're here. Oh, geez. Getting old, guys. So yeah, so Tuesday, that show, I'm thinking of doing a Arizona themed show, like a Arizona cryptid show or a Bigfoot show, or I think the people that I'm going to have on cover a few different cryptids. So I'm looking forward to this show. It should be a good show. I'm not going to get too into it, but you'll know. I think you'll dig it when it comes on, as soon as I announce it. Who's in chat? Overbuilt. Welcome, man. So what I'm going to do is I am going to post the link right in chat. Somehow. I'm going to have to write this out. Chris. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. How's the baby? Hopefully he's doing good. Wow. Hey, Kerry. Nice to see you. So yeah, Chris, I was surprised to see you on my show, man. That's awesome. Um, yeah. Guys, Christopher's my son. He's in New York State right now, or I guess it's New York State. He's in the state of New York, so um yeah, I'm thrilled to see you, Chris. That's awesome. Yeah, well, you got to bring him out here, dude. He said he can't because his my grandson can't wait to meet me. Poor bastard has no idea what he's in for. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Chris, you guys got to come out here. Um, wow, I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that you're here, Chris. So, um, again, anybody wants to come on, email me, or I'm gonna write down that email address, that link, because I can't just copy it somewhere. Mm-hmm. Just give me a minute, guys. Huh. I don't even have my phone. That's funny. Talk about ill prepared. Um, so yeah, guys, again, email me. I was going to try to post a link, but I left my phone inside. I might have to dip out of here and go find it real quick. Ray, I do. I do need a secretary. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. um, but yeah, you know what? I'm doing it on my own, and it's working. So apparently, I'm doing something right. It might be a little bit unorganized, but whatever. It's like I said, it seems like it's working. Duke, howdy, brother. How are you? Good to see you. You know what? If I'm going to get emails, I have to dip out of here. You guys are going to have to entertain yourself for like 60 seconds. All right. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys. This helps. Now I've got some emails sitting here, so let's see who said something, and we'll send out some invites. Sorry, I had that muted. Yeah, let me send this to you. Just give me a minute, guys. I just got to send this real quick. Got a little treat for y'all. This chair is so noisy. It's on its way. Thanks for that, by the way. One more I gotta send out too. So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I know it's only Tuesday, and there's plenty of time left for the week to go to shit. But no, just kidding. Yeah, I'm biding my time. As you guys know, some of you know, I'm in the process of getting back my driver's license. I've jumped through all the hoops. I've crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, paid all the fees. Everything is paid for. All I have to do is walk in the motor vehicle with 2 pieces of paper, hand them that, and they hand me my license. But I have to wait over 2 weeks for that, just to walk in for 5 minutes. Kind of sucks. But it's worth it. I know I just saw another link here. Hey, sorry, buddy. I'm sitting making you wait over there.
I'm good. Not bothering me at all. I was sitting there reading through the chat. It's kind of cool. It's actually interesting. There's a whole other thing, and I say this all the time. There's a whole other thing going on in the chat, right?
Oh, yeah.
You left and nothing stopped. It just kept going.
Oh, yeah. No, I could have been gone 10 minutes. It was still, it's another world.
That's exactly right.
And it's funny because that's where I started, was in that world. So I get it. That's why I kind of try to pay more attention to chat,
Right. Well, I say hello to everyone, and I'll probably miss a few, but I'll do them.
Bomber.
I'll do them one at a time. I know that probably aggravates the heck out of everybody, but
no, it's I like to, rather than like wait till the end of a session to start asking questions. If people have questions pop up, I'll let them answer. Ask the questions anytime. Just because they're fresh in their mind, and they'll just keep repeating the same question over and over. So might as well just get them out of the way.
Right. I miss a lot, but
so do
I. we've been getting quite a bit of people in the chat on the late show, especially.
And yeah, you guys have been up there.
They motor by. We had almost 500 with Mark Copeland.
Really?
Livewire, yeah.
Wow.
And then another 1,100 watching that weren't in chat. So yeah, it was it's quite humbling and special.
No kidding. I mean, I was just shocked at the views from Duke's show. Brian Sullivan. That was just it blew me away how many views so quickly. And the subs are just like every day they're just stacking up a little bit at a time. 2 here, 2 there. You know, it's just amazing.
Got to get that 1,000. You'll have your 4,000 watch hours before you have your 1,000.
Yeah.
Your 1,000 subs. You'll be ready to go as soon as it hits. And I was telling Mark Copeland about monetizing on YouTube because he wouldn't do it. You know, because, and I understand he didn't want to diminish, you know, take away from what he was putting out there, make people think he was doing it for money. But I mean, it's nobody's business. If you want to monetize your channel, that's what it's there for. You know, if YouTube is offering you money, why wouldn't you go get it?
Yeah, I mean, but people do look at it that way, where they think it does. I kind of look at it that way too. Like I'll say I'll never ask for money. You know, I would never ask anybody for anything, but God forbid if there came a time and where you actually need it.
Because you just don't know.
You don't know. You know, so I'll say it now that I will never ask for anything, you know, but
things can
if
happen.
I had to, you know, yeah. And these, you know, these are great people out here, you know, that we are our subs and our friends, and you know,
and you know, you got to think most people have YouTube Premium. You know, it's not, you know, and just skipping through a 5-second commercial, you can control how many ads you put in. One in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end. You only got to skip through one, you know, and you still, you know, the way the CPMs work, you can do okay. What would you do if you could do a show 3 times a week and not have to do anything else? Actually get paid, pay your bills, just doing this.
Well, I'm already doing it 2 nights a week, you know.
Okay. Now imagine now that it's paying your bills.
Well, yeah, no, if that could work out like that, that would be great. But you know, it's, you know,
never know.
It's not my main goal right now is not to monetize. If that.
No, I understand that. I understand. I'm not trying to be all about money. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but I will definitely cross that bridge when I get to it.
Yeah, it's there. You might as well get it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's not. I'm not. You know, it's not going to take away from my show. You know.
Look, I felt the exact same way about the expedition. So whatever we put into it, if we're going to get anything back, we'll just get back what we put in, and then we'll let it go for free. Because I felt the same way. Didn't want it to underwrite or overwrite what the true thing was. People say, well, they just made this up and they're doing it for money. But I was also anticipating putting out a 7-part docuseries and getting a ton of people to watch it, you know, the way we were going to advertise. It had a hell of a lot of buzz. Still does. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on hold, you know.
That's all. That is
It'll happen. It'll happen.
I'm gonna do a couple of odysseys first.
Oh, right on.
Before we do that, actually, so I'm thinking spring. We'll go down to Florida. COVID will be done November the 4th. It'll all be over with. So, day after the election.
Check my calendar on that one.
That's the day after the election.
Oh yeah. But doesn't the meteor hit the day before the election?
Yeah. Oh, this is true. Duke says, as long as you don't say anything controversial to piss off the deep state, you can stay monetized. Yeah. We've had several of our videos demonetized, and I've had to share revenue on a couple. Anytime someone comes on your show and they've got a copyright, like a book, and they hold it up and show it and talk about it, or if you have any kind of audio that's been copywritten, yeah, I had to share with Matthew Johnson on his interview, and every time we play the Sierra Sounds, I have to share that revenue with Ron Moore. I don't care, you know, it's their stuff, so it's only right that it goes to them. But
sure, that's good to know, though.
Yeah. Anything copywritten, if they catch a hold of it, and that algorithm is good, man, that thing picks up.
Yeah,
it picks stuff up. So what are we talking about here? What are we doing? I was so bored.
Yeah, man. I just, you know, I didn't have a plan. I didn't get anybody on. I got a I've been working on a show I'm putting together for next week. I've got one guest, confirmed. Trying to get another one and make a show about it. Like I want to do Arizona cryptids or Bigfoot, or but all Arizona based. I want to get some people on from here or that have lived here and discuss this state's cryptids.
Yeah, plenty of it.
Yeah, and you get so much lore with the Native Americans, as far as skinwalkers and all that.
Oh, the Navajos.
Stuff.
That would be so cool. If you could get a hold of one of those and get an interview, that would be.
It's weird. They can't talk about certain things. It's seasonal. Like I guess like Bigfoot, you can only talk about during the cold season, like during the winter. Yeah, there's times of there's seasons for telling these stories, and it's tradition.
I mean, if that's what their tradition is, I just thought we've only ever talked to the Omahas, and thank goodness they invited us. But Linda and I both are part Native American, and that was the only way we were able to even go up there.
Oh, right on.
Was because of that
little percentage.
Yeah, well, I'm 23%. I don't know how I'm not 25%. My mother and father. My mother's a quarter Choctaw. My dad's a quarter Cherokee, so I should be an eighth, but it doesn't work out that way according to 23andMe.
No, it's more than an eighth. Cryptid 559, what's up, buddy? How's it going? How we are? Good to see you here. Hey, Barry.
Don't talk about food. What kind of food, Hilton? Like barbecue chicken, or maybe a good brisket.
Speaking of Hilton, that's what I was looking for. I thought he emailed me, and
oh, is he coming on too?
Yeah, I think we'll get the Ozzy who he'll kill me for that one.
I was
Kiwi.
I was actually working on the shutter. This will be my first video in a month on it, and I don't have any good video, so I'm gonna get the drone and fly it around in the desert tomorrow. And Shutter's coming out tomorrow afternoon, everybody. So
right on
for that. Thought a shameless plug.
No, plug away, dude. We have to support each other, so go for it.
Dude, you're starting to get some folks on this show.
Oh, as far as in chat right now watching?
Yeah. And
we're at 50. Yeah. It's pretty cool, man. And I'm sorry, I got my nose, guys. I got my nose in the phone. I'm trying to
That's all right.
Look up an email, and it's around here somewhere.
Hilton's mad at me right now for mentioning food. I'm guessing he's hungry and can't eat.
Hilton, I don't know what the hell's wrong with my phone. I can't find it.
I keep going over here trying to post comments. BPD1976 wants to know if you had an encounter.
Ben, what's up, man? What kind of encounter? All my stuff is supernatural, ghosts. I've never had a Bigfoot encounter. But
I'm plenty of encounters, huh? You can't talk about on here.
I'm gonna put myself out there in the near future and get out and do some I'll just call it filming in the woods. You're not going to research. I'm just going to go hike and see what we see.
Which is what everybody else that researches does.
Exactly. That's just going to call it something else.
Most researchers don't go look for Bigfoot. They go look for evidence. They'll look for footprints and tree structures, and I guess some will do the knocks and all, but most of the time, Bigfoot researchers, when it comes to interaction, it's all at night, which I'm sure that's when Bigfoot mostly comes out. I wouldn't know. I know nothing about Bigfoot. Just what everybody else has said, and I just take whatever and whatever fits in my little paradigm here is what I think about the Sasquatch.
like you never had an experience yourself.
Yeah, that made me an expert. Doesn't mean I know anything.
No, of course, but and your experience is a daytime encounter anyway. So
right, 8:30 in the morning, beautiful sunny day.
Oh, what a way to waste a whole day. Damn. First thing in the morning, you got to deal with that shit.
I was in there before the sun up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I sat there for hours. He probably laid there watching me for hours until all those turkeys started coming. I think that was the real issue. They ain't getting my turkeys.
All right, let's send this out.
Never been able to laugh about it before, and that's kind of cool. I ended up telling it on the Late Show with Brad the other night. Wasn't even planning on it.
Yeah, I was listening to
that. Overbuilt. You know, that Mark Barton interview, that guy, I was going to call him today and check on him, but he is doing a lot better. But I appreciate that, Overbuilt, for sure. That's I didn't expect it to end up being what it, especially it's got like 38,000 views.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a lot for us for a live show.
Holy shit, man.
That's a ton. I think the most we had before that was like 10,000. And that might have been Wes Germer or somebody like that.
Hilton, I'm trying to find your email address. It keeps coming up with your name, and for whatever reason, it's just not letting me.
You have a Messenger on
there? I do.
You can send it through Messenger. Did you ever talk to Hilton through Messenger?
I think we did.
It was posted.
I think that's where we talked.
That's where I sent it to him.
Yeah, but like it gives me his name and not the address. Oh, yeah. So I can type in the address.
Tap on his name and it should show you the address.
Nope.
Post your email on here, Hilton.
Sorry, Hilton. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing.
I will, Duke. I have Duke says someone that has answers. Actually,
hey Kevin, good to see you, man. Welcome. Actually,
Ryan Rush messaged me, said he had some kind of answers too. So there's apparently, if you just go read the comments, Duke, and you'll see 50 what I call $2 diagnosis for what he ran into. So I mean, if somebody has actual answers for him, great. But like I said, if you just go look and you'll see everybody has their own idea, of what happened to him. But he was there, and I mean, maybe somebody does, and I'm not saying your guy doesn't. What I'm just saying, I get a lot of messages for people that say, I know what this is. I know what happened to him, but I'll definitely do that.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this. I'm just feeling a little stupid right now because I can't bring this up.
Do I? I can't do it, can I, from here? I'm trying to.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I got it. It's in chat. Now I got to pull it up on my phone.
Okay, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna call him tomorrow to see how he's doing, and then I'll give him your email.
Okay, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna call him tomorrow.
Turn your email.
Yeah, I got it.
I do that. I do the same thing all the time. We've had a lot of issues with our Facebook group here lately, and it's just started to move so far away from its original purpose.
Really?
Yes. people selling their agendas and selling their books and being condescending to each other and just not
and
really
using your channel,
right.
Yeah, that's
if someone wants to come on the show and they have a book to sell, we'll plug their book. Sure. As long as it's information. It's not a bunch of made up stories or, just something that they wrote, on a whim. That is, some actual knowledge that they've
I mean, yeah. And I would do that too, but don't come out here and waste people's time,
Right. Exactly. So all it does is start arguments, and that's all we've been dealing with. The Facebook group is, God bless Daniela for handling that the way she does.
This is just ridiculous. Why am I having so much difficulty with this?
Yeah. BPD. Who's BPD?
That's Ben.
Ben. Yeah, Ben. It was, and it missed us just to the west.
Oh, you guys didn't get that hurricane or the tropical storm? Isn't there another one, Laura, down there?
Laura, yeah, it's coming. Rain bands. I don't know where it is right now. I'll look at the Weather Channel. The path ended up taking it. Yeah, it's still right in the middle.
Yeah, I don't envy you guys down there. We used to get the nor'easters and the hurricanes on the East Coast. But it's not like, Sandy was a bad one. I wasn't there for that one, thank God. But that was the worst one as far as storm surge went. But you guys really get the storm surge, when it comes up off that Gulf. I wouldn't want to have to face that.
That doesn't where we are. We're 40 miles in. Hey, I gotta go, man. I'm sorry, dude. Hilton. I'll be watching the show. My boss just showed up.
No worries.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Peace. I'll be back in the chat. If I can get out of here.
Yeah, let me get you out of here too. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, sorry about this, guys. I am just having this complete brain fart. Hilton, I'm gonna need you to hang out for a while, man. Let me get somebody on here real quick that I've wanted to talk to for a while now, and I'm gonna have the same problem I see. Where I get the person's name, but not the email address. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Do me a shit. For some reason, you're sending me emails and your name is coming up, and I can't seem to get it to give me the email address associated with the name, like details on the text. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, why I'm having a brain fart with this, but it's just getting stupid. I don't understand why it's not showing me this. I'm doing something wrong. Splash has a question above. All right, you know what? Hold on, guys. We'll get back. We'll get back to this. I'm ignoring you guys, not intentionally. I'm just trying to make this show happen. Splash. Let's see. Not seeing it yet. Pappy, I will get to you, okay, man? I don't know if your name is coming up, but I can't seem to pull up your email address so I can copy it down and send you that link. Bummer, I don't see what you're referring to. Sorry, hon. So yeah, that was cool, Kerry, to come on. I appreciate it, bud. And yeah, it is funny. Ever since Brian was on, you know, Duke, it's just it's starting to really kick off a little bit more, and it's pretty interesting. I get goosebumps because it's kind of, you know, exciting because all of a sudden things are starting to pop for this show, and I guess I'm doing something right. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Again, Tuesday, I will have a show on Thursday, probably similar to this, where it's nothing going on. But next Tuesday, I have a show planned. I'm putting together now. I've already got one really great guest I'm looking forward to talking to. Trying to get another one on. And I saw you, Kev. I'll get you in a minute. I'm trying to get Pappy on too. I just having problems with this. It's a simple thing, and I can't figure it out. I don't know what the hell. Nope, not that. There it is. Maron. You tell him from the East Coast and wasn't married to an Italian. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Huh. Pappy, it's on its way, buddy. And I really appreciate this. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see. What's going on in chat over here? Crows and ravens spy for Bigfoot. You think that's true, Duke? Possible. I'm trying to domesticate a raven where I work. They hang out in this huge pine tree right in the parking lot. There's usually two of them. So I'm like corrupting them with donuts and shit like that. I'll get them domesticated. I know it sounds cruel, but shit, I went fishing over in Prescott, Arizona one day, and within 10 minutes, I was going to say I domesticated a robin, but no, the robin domesticated me. I mean, he had me throwing him worms like, you know, I was jumping through all these hoops, feeding this robin worms. He would fly across the lake, come back 10 minutes later, looking for more. I'm here, guys. I'm just reading chat. So if I get quiet, I apologize. Here we go. Pappy, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? You hear me okay?
Sorry, I push mute. Yeah, I hear you great.
I hear you okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you awesome. I'm just having a little coughing fit here. Water went down the wrong pipe. So how are you, sir? It's great to meet you.
I'm doing real well. But hold on a sec. I got a little feedback here.
Okay.
I think that's a little bit better. I had the other channel open.
Okay. No, I hear you fine. I'm sure everybody in chat can hear you fine too.
Yeah, I can't see the comments in my chat. So.
Does it give you an option there? It should give you an option for comments.
It says, there we go. Okay.
Oh, ta-da.
I've got more than one hand here.
Yeah. So where are you right now? Where are you located?
Right now I'm in southeastern Massachusetts, down near the Cape area.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm from northern New York, up by Canada. That's where I'm from, and all my family is.
Okay. How far up? I mean, like along the St. Lawrence River up that way?
Yeah, St. Lawrence River area. As a matter of fact, we're probably 30 minutes from the Canadian border.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, that's that whole area. I grew up in that area, so I was born and raised in that area. You know, and you know, in retrospect now, I tell you what, a lot of things happened back then that I finally added up in my adult life.
So were you more towards the lake or you know, or the Thousand Islands region?
Where I was from is right off the lake a little bit to the east of the lake, right at the beginning of what they call the Tug Hill region, which is the beginning of the Adirondack region. You know, that's the Adirondack State Park up there is like 6 million acres.
Yeah, you know? I know that's a big park.
That's huge up there.
Yeah, I've been through there a few times.
Yeah, it's pretty country, pretty rural up there. The town that I grew up in had 480 people in it, and we lived 4 miles outside of that on a farm. So yeah, I'm an old country boy.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a line in a song, a country song that says, you know, some people grew up on the farm and others wish they did. It's, you know, it's.
Well, that depends on which part of the boot are you looking at? The top of the boot or the bottom of the sole of the boot?
Yeah, I'm from the Northeast. I'm from New Jersey originally.
Yeah, I spent some time down at Fort Dix. Matter of fact, my oldest daughter was born there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at the military hospital there. So, as you can tell by the hat, you know, I'm prior military. So,
and thank you so much for your service.
Yeah, I retired in 1989.
How many years in?
20 years, 2 months, and 13 days, but I didn't count.
Not at all. Well, why bother? You know.
Yeah, I retired.
Who keeps track of stuff like that anyway?
I retired, let them pay my mortgage, you know?
Sure. Well, that's good, man. And thank you again for serving. You know, that's to make a career out of the military is impressive.
Still serving, you know, as old as I am, if I got called, I like many would probably go right back, you know.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
what can I help you with there tonight?
Anything. You're of Native American heritage, correct?
Yeah, I'm part Iroquois. Okay. You know, the Senecas, the Oneidas, the Mohawks.
Yeah,
you know, we have some Oneida in our background on my grandmother's side. We're what are called Métis. We're mixed blood.
Okay.
You know, so we go back, and I can trace my lineage back into, you know, Quebec on the French side. You know, the French trappers that come over. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But we weren't really raised in the culture. You know, it's kind of funny about people that are of a mixed race, you know, depending upon what that race is, you do or do not get involved in it.
Sure.
And in the case of the Native American stuff back then, we didn't, it wasn't something that was widely
embraced,
pushed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it would have, we grew up dirt poor. And, you know, I remember the welfare food, if you want to call it that, you know, having to go to the, you know, getting the 5-pound bricks of cheese and the big cans of pork. And, you know, that's kind of how I grew up, you know, but that was back in the 1950s. And that was about the year after they made dirt, I think, you know, so things were a little different.
Might have been the year before. I'm not sure. Check that.
But yeah, you know, good country that we're in, you know, you can work your way up out of that. You don't have to stay in it, you know. And
sure.
So that's the opportunity that I think we all have if we look for it. You know, you don't have to stay where you are. You got feet, move.
Absolutely. You know, and people do complain a lot about their situations. You don't like it, change it. You know, I'm a prime example of that. You know, I drank my ass off for 30 years and finally I couldn't do it anymore. You know, I got sick and had to make a decision. And here I am now, you know, over 3 years sober, and everything has changed or is changing for the better. And it's just amazing. You know, you had mentioned something in chat just recently about saying that I was on the cusp of a personal growth. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of curious what, you know, if you could elaborate on that. And, you know,
well, first off, I'm going to let you know, Russ, that you're not alone with what's going on. And you're seeing it more and more evidence by what people are talking about in shows similar to, you know, what you're doing.
Sure.
You might have started out in one place. Okay. But we find that we're going different places, and then we're learning new things. A lot of people right now are maturing spiritually. Okay. And that's because I personally think that it's almost like a quickening time. You know, those that have prepared and gone through the life's lessons and stuff and are ready are going to be given an opportunity to step across into something new, something different, perhaps something the same, but seen differently.
Sure.
You know, you can be just like the example of me growing up in the area that I did, all of those things that went on back then that I can now add together and say, that's what it was. Okay. I didn't see them because I couldn't see them. And that's the same with a lot of people in their lives. You know, you have to live your life. You have to raise your families. You have to work. You have to get involved in all kinds of things, or you get sometimes involved in things that aren't healthy. And I'm with you on the drinking. With the 20 years I spent in the military, there was a period of time there early in my career that I got along real well with not only the bottles that I had, but the ones of other people when they were dancing with their partner out on the dance floor.
Sure.
So I know what that's like too. And I mentioned that to you simply because I get feelings, I get knowings, I get. I'm not going to say I'm an empath, but I am sensitive to energies. Mm-hmm. And I have been for a long time. And I just sense that about you. Okay. Now, where you take it and what you do with it, okay, or even what comes to you, to your understanding, that's going to be entirely up to you.
Sure.
You know, so. Yeah, I got a little checkered history when it comes to that. So.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty open to what the future has in store. You know, I'm looking forward to it. You know, things are really shaping up. You know,
that's my dog and my kids arguing. Hold on.
I forgot what the hell I was saying. So I got to get back to the chat. Literally, forgot what I was saying. There you are.
Okay, I'm back. I'm going to apologize for that. First off,
no
life
worries.
goes on. Life goes on. Things happen. I've got 2 dogs. They're 7 years old.
I got 2
they don't
dogs
know
as
that
well.
they're not people. They don't know that they're not kids.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that I can be talking to somebody else and not them.
Sure.
So that's what they're doing, is they argue back and forth.
Yeah, luckily I have my little studio away from my dogs, and I just, they're in the house and I'm in my little, because otherwise they'd be on camera. No doubt.
Well, my wife is trying to distract them now. So if you want to let them outside, go ahead. Well, getting back to what we were just discussing, okay, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because there's a lot of people that are in our chat and that are in the chat that we both participate in all the time.
Sure.
Okay, that have been brought together in these chats because of the subject matter of your shows, your show, and the others that we participate in. And that has brought people of the same like mind, if you will, or like spirit together. Sure. And together they're all growing. Okay, it's kind of like, I put it this way, it's kind of like a playing, remember the old pinball games?
Of course.
Okay, now some of the people that don't know those, it was a wonderful game that I used to spend way too much money on years ago.
Absolutely.
But the object is to keep that ball moving just as much as you can. But that ball hits bumpers, and it hits things that send it in all different directions. And each of us in our life is sometimes, if we look at it as a big pinball game, sometimes we're the bumpers that the ball bounces off and goes in a different direction. Okay, somebody else is the ball. Sometimes we're the flappers. We keep the ball from falling in the hole. Sometimes we're the ball. Okay, and depends upon that situation. So you don't know whether or not, somebody that's come into one of your chats to talk about the big guys, or to talk about, some other form of cryptid out there.
Sure.
Comes in contact with somebody and they head off in a different direction, which is where they need to go, And that's what's nice about this particular genre of YouTube channels that we're also interested in. It's because it shows that we have the capability of not having blinders on.
Oh, yeah.
And allow ourselves to be open to possibilities. Without being open to possibilities, you're going to have probabilities of not succeeding.
Sure. And that's why, I figure if it would be foolish of me to believe in one thing like the paranormal or ghosts and not believe in this. I mean, because the flesh and blood isn't as crazy as, ghosts, So it would be foolish.
We just change form, don't we? Yeah, that's now in the context of what people look at with the cryptids and stuff, they've obviously been around for a good long time if we can look at history. Do you know one of the first published reports of well, they didn't call it Bigfoot back then, it was called a wild man. It was in the town of Ellisburg, New York, which happens to be the town that I lived in.
Of course.
And I think it was like 1817.
Wow.
That they had the reports back then. But I never found that out until I'd been retired from the military. I had time in my life, and I got involved in, probably hearing Sasquatch Chronicles for the first time or something, when that's
what got me hooked.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what got me hooked. That was
going to ask.
Midnight at the Oasis, Art Bell. I used to be a security guard after I retired, and all those hours at night and sit there listening to the Art Bell show.
Sure.
That got me started, got me thinking, because we certainly had some activity as I was growing up. My family up there in upstate New York, they have ongoing activity as we speak, and it seems to be routine. So they're there.
Yeah, well, there is so much property up there. I mean, so much land. It's incredible. I mean, people don't realize how big New York State is. I mean, people hear New York and they think of New York City, but New York State is huge.
Yeah.
I used to fish. I used to fish up in the Thousand Islands, up by Clayton, and all up that way.
Yeah, it's a big muskie up in that area,
dude. Then I lived in Wisconsin for a year and a half on the west border with Minnesota, and we were right on the St. Croix River. And you talk about muskie, I'm fishing for smallmouth and pulling a smallmouth, and a torpedo swims by, and you're like, what the hell was that?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're throwing everything at it, and they just ignore it.
Yeah. Now if you put a baby duck on there or something like that, they go right after it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I couldn't. I wouldn't. It's terrible. Effective, I'm sure, but
Yeah, it was the same. I mean, we used to fish what was called bullhead up there, and up north in the Northeast they call them bullhead, or they call them
the catfish
pout, or
the horn pouts.
We call them bullhead, little small ones. Yeah, the horn pout. Yeah.
Yep, I know them.
Yeah, I caught my biggest northern pike going for catfish one night. I got a 41 incher.
Oh wow!
You get surprised, so you don't know what's up there.
When I was in
same is true in the woods.
When I was in Wisconsin, we were fishing for flatheads, but we were using channel cats as bait. Yeah. We were using channel cats that big, to catch flatheads.
Sure.
In the Mississippi. It was crazy.
Yeah, I get fascinated with some of the stories that not only some of the guests that you've had here, but also some of the people that are in the chat. They've had some really, really interesting encounters. And what got me interested in this topic? Well, let me tell you, one of the things that got me interested in this was I had come home on leave one time when I was in the military, and I was getting ready to be restationed down in San Antonio, I think it was. And my wife was pregnant at the time, and we had just come back from Hawaii. So we went back to upstate New York, and it was the middle of winter up there. And so we're sitting watching TV. Now, my folks, being farm folks, they went to bed like 9 o'clock at night. All the lights were out. My wife and I were sitting there and watching TV
in the dark.
And we had, the old house had big icicles and everything else hanging outside. And there was a tremendous thump on the side of the house. And at first I said, well, that's got to be one of those icicles breaking off and falling off. I'd heard it 100 times growing up, And so I looked out the window thinking that perhaps it was, it had been that. And, didn't see anything. So I sat back down, we're watching TV again, and it happened a second time. And this time when I looked out the window, they could see that there was my stepdad had his pickup truck parked on the lawn just outside of the window so I could see it. And then on the other side of that was a couple of large trees, and then the road. The pickup truck was rocking back and forth. And now I had my dander up because I thought somebody was out there fooling around.
Sure.
So, and the first thing I was thinking is that one of my friends knew that I had come home on leave and was out there messing around and stuff. So I said, okay, I'm going to fix them. So I took my 30-06 and I went outside and jacked around and popped it off in the air and said, okay, I know you're out there. Come on. Well, nothing happened, with the exception of the tracks that I found the next morning off the lawn and into the road and down the road. And it was later on that one of my sisters had related a story that she had been coming up from the farm that I grew up on, which was about a quarter of a mile away down a dirt road. And every night my mother would send one of the kids down to pick up a gallon of milk and walk it back up to the house. Because the place that we lived on was one of 3 separate farms that had been combined into one. So it was a pretty good size operation. And my sister had claimed that she had been chased by a bear running on 2 legs while she was bringing the milk back that night. And apparently she squawked loud enough while she was being chased that my mother heard her from inside the house and turned the outside light on, which was probably a 60-watt light bulb. But my sister came in swearing up and down that she had been chased by a bear running on 2 legs.
Yeah,
and that she had made it to the house. She dropped the pail and everything else.
To her, that 60
So
watt.
that's kind of what got.
To her, that light bulb was like as
that didn't
bright as
illuminate
the
any.
sun. No, but for her, that was her beacon. That was her savior. I mean, you're running into.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're probably
when you're
right.
a kid, you're out and you're like in the dark and you're waiting for the next street light or house light to see just to light things up. I was never home when I was a kid. I was always in the woods or doing something. I shouldn't be.
I'll tell you what, I know what you mean with the lights. There's been nights when I was in the military at night that I couldn't wait to see the first glimpse of some kind of light, usually first thing in the morning. That's what I was hoping to see, because there's a lot of stuff to go bump in the night when you're out there,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been in the woods well before daylight, and when you're waiting for the sun to come up when you're hunting, and it's a weird time, everything changes.
Yeah. Everything, yeah, and your senses change too. They get heightened. Well, it was after those occurrences and stuff that I started remembering other things that had occurred as we grew up. Just didn't put stories that started coming together that made a little more sense. The old house that I grew up in, it's no longer there, it burnt down. But the old house that I grew up in had spirits in it. It's one of those things that they're just there. We knew about them,
Sure.
But and it was an old two-story farmhouse, typical of the New England style up there.
So you grew up.
The sisters.
You grew up with.
I grew up
with a haunted in a haunted house. So like from a young age, you were aware of spirits okay.
Russ, there were nights where I fought to keep my pillow on my bed. I could literally, it was being pulled from underneath my head. So that's, and seeing a white figure at the foot of the bed and, that sort of stuff. It never seemed to be anything other than mischievous, but.
Sure. But just to, grow
my
up with that is interesting.
Well, within our large family, my mother was one of a very large family. She had my grandmother had 13 girls and 3 boys, and that's how many. I had a lot of in-law. I mean, I had a lot of cousins and stuff. So and there were quite a few of those. There were quite a few of those stories within our family. So.
Well, with that many
kind
people,
of
the chances of experiencing, somebody experiencing something is going to go up with that many more people there. Yeah. That's fascinating now.
Yeah. So, but it startled us, but it didn't seem to, interfere too much in our life. And we accepted it as something that was happening there, had we been getting pinched or something like that, it might have been a different story.
All right. Ben asked a question, and I got to track it down. You said, what did it look like? Sounded like you saw it briefly, but I don't know who you're talking to, Ben. So really, just throw in a quick explanation in chat. I want to answer, your questions. Don't think I'm ignoring you guys in chat. I saw that bomber, and, I'm trying. Get a little fascinated here listening to these stories. I'd like to, have people and ask questions like the whole time, instead of waiting until the end.
Oh, sure.
And
I enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm slacking.
You're multitasking.
Trying anyway. I'm not sure what he's referring to in this question. All right. Ben, if you re-put the question, I'll be sure to ask it. I just got the guest Bigfoot. You saw a Bigfoot?
Oh, I have not ever seen one face to face.
I didn't
Okay,
think
I
so.
will tell you what I have seen is I have seen brush movement, and I have seen glimpses out of the corner of my eye. And what's interesting is that didn't occur until actually seeing the movement out of the corner of my eye until it was year before last when that occurred. And that was at my brother's cabin in upstate New York. He has an off-grid cabin up there. And we were out, he had just moved there. And what we were doing is we were out doing ceremony in his yard. Okay. I'm the ceremonialist for our native clan. Mm-hmm. And so we were doing ceremonies to bless his property and things of that nature. And he actually saw them, and he has seen them a couple of times. All I saw was glimpses out of the corner of my eye quickly because I was drumming at that time. And we were being watched while we were doing the ceremony.
Okay.
And so, and then subsequent to that, I've had contact with my brother. He's been having interactions with him at his cabin.
Have you heard anything while you're at
there? Not that time. However, if I go back in time, knowing what I know now, I'll tell you a story about when we had gone hunting in the area at night. We used to go out at night and raccoon hunt. As I mentioned, we grew up, quite poor. We weren't making any money really enough as on the farm because we were. The farm was owned by three brothers. My stepdad was one of the brothers. So they split the money up, and my stepdad, when he married my mom, there was already three of us kids there. So he had all those mouths to feed. So what he would do to supplement his income was to hunt and trap. And he used to sell the raccoons for the hides. And we used to go raccoon hunting whenever the season opened. This area that we grew up in, there's all kinds of creeks and streams up there, but there's tons and tons and tons of farm fields that, farmers grow their crops, for the silage and the corn and the oats and things. So we would go around and raccoon hunt at night. We had a couple of good dogs, and we had gone to a place that was a little closer to the lake. We had to walk almost a mile across fields to get to the backwoods. And we had gone in there to go hunting. It was late October. It was one of those nights that it was quiet with a little bit of a breeze, hardly any moonlight to speak of. So we went and walked across that field, had to go across a number of fences to get there. And we finally got back to where the wood line was because there was a cornfield that was growing close to that wood line. So we went into the woods, and we're probably in there about 5-10 minutes or so, and we're waiting for the dog to pick up the scent of something and start barking and that sort of stuff. Now, there were my stepdad, myself, and three of my friends. Because he used to take 2 or 3 teenage boys with him to go out hunting at night. We'd all go out have a big hunting party. Well, we're all standing there waiting. And there was a loud crash, and then a scream that I can only describe as the cross between a bellow of an elephant and somebody booming a bass drum at the same time. You could literally, it was like it washed over you. You could almost feel it.
Mm-hmm.
My stepdad at the time, I think he was in his 50s then. He let out a JC, and took off running. And I mean, took off running. And we all took off running. Whatever it was, just literally scared the bejeepers right out of us. And we ran all the way back to where the car was parked on the side of the road. Well, when we got there, the dog was already there. The dog had never gone into the woods with us. We didn't know that.
Good dog.
And yeah, good dog is right. Well, I had come home on leave one time right after, probably I'd been in the Army I think that was a year before I went in the Army that happened. So I come home on leave after that first year, and I asked my stepdad if he had ever gone back into that place we called the Eastman Woods. He said he went back in there one time. He said he walked in there. He said the more you went in there, the more it smelled like bear. I says, bear? We never seen any bear up here back when I was growing up.
Sure.
And I said, do you know what a bear smells like? He said, no. He said, but whatever it was, it stunk. And that area back in that where that woods is ends up in a pretty good swamp that goes down to goes for a couple of miles before it hits the lake shore. So it's probably a pretty good area there. But that's also within the township that they had that first published sighting many years ago.
Ellington, what is it?
So I'm pretty sure the town of Ellisburg.
Ellisburg.
Yeah, if you do an online search, you can look for a Bigfoot sighting town of Ellisburg, and I'm sure you can find the old clipping in there someplace.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There's been those kind of reports.
But it's amazing, growing up on the East Coast and like we had the Jersey Devil, in New Jersey as folklore, and you would hear about like Bigfoot, but again, like you would think there's one and it's on the other side of the country. So, in the past couple of years, finding out that they're everywhere,
yeah. And they go by a lot of names.
Yeah. And I try to look back because I grew up in the woods, basically, as a kid, just wandering around in the woods when I was, 5 years old. I had woods right next to us that, it was you had a lot of freedom. I did anyway. And you would have too, I guess. I grew up in the 70s. It's totally different today. You have kids on leashes today. Back then you didn't. Just growing up in the woods and having no idea about these things, looking back, and I've tried to look back, like, were there any weird instances, hunting or fishing or where I just blew it off, but I don't recall anything, seeing anything or, but I'm going to start looking a little more now. Now they know what I'm looking for.
As you gain experience, you can look back and relate those things and start adding them all up.
Yeah.
There was an instance, for example, before I had gone into the service, I was still a teenager. I had gone up to my friend's house. He lived about 1.5 miles away, I would say, probably up that road, a little closer towards the small town. And I stayed there quite late. So as usual, I'd end up walking home, and as I was walking home that night, I had gotten about maybe a quarter, maybe a third of a mile away from his place. And as I'm walking back home, on my right-hand side, it's all woods there. And that wood just runs, for that whole 1.5 miles, maybe a couple of farm fields, but the woods went further back over for quite a ways. And then on my left-hand side, it dropped right off right down a steep gully, right to what they call, it's a creek that runs through there. It's the same creek that runs through our farm and everything else. So I'm walking home, and it's quite late. I'm thinking it's probably around 11 o'clock at night. And something on the left, I'm walking, and it's walking. So I stop and listen. I says, I'd walk a little further, and I could hear it walking again. Then I'd stop and listen. I wouldn't hear anything. Then I'd walk, and that thing followed me that 1.5 miles back to my home. And I talked to my, it was funny because as I got close to my house, probably within 500 yards or so of my house, the road had these large maple trees that had been planted there years and years and years ago because the farmers used to tap the maple trees to get the maple syrup. And I just had a distinct impression that something was following me, and I turned around and looked, and I couldn't see anything. Of course, it was dark at night, but I had a feeling there's always something behind one of those trees. And my stepdad, after that, always told me, said, "It was a deer that followed you home." I don't think it was a deer now. I mean, I've seen deer walking in the woods. I've had them sneak up on me while I was on stand and stuff, and none of them ever made my hair stand up on the back of my neck.
Sure. That's
so now.
Go ahead.
Let's add them up. What's the chances? Chances are pretty good that's probably was something that now we think about.
Yeah, I don't recall having any experiences where I was in the woods where I got that, hair standing up on the back of your neck or that feeling of being watched. I mean, the only time that ever happened where I got that primal fear was in a house, and it was something, I don't know, I don't want to say demonic, but something was in this house that scared the shit out of me. Sorry, but
yeah.
And I got
negative.
I got so scared that I got pissed off and started yelling at it.
It's funny how different people have different reactions.
Yeah, I just got so scared, so freaked that I just got mad and started yelling. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Good for you.
If I run into a Sasquatch or something. So let's check. Tracy, hi, good to see you. Sorry, guys. Andy, what's up, buddy? Tony, hope you're feeling better. How's the wife?
Hey, Tony.
Live wire, welcome. I'm trying not to ignore you guys. Any questions that I'm sure I've missed? If some of the mods can point it out, I'll pay attention now. Sorry. Getting grossed in stories. I love hearing stories, firsthand accounts. I just, it's the only time I will ignore a chat. Otherwise, the one day I got criticized for blowing off Duke in comments. And I mean, I explained myself to the guy and he ended up subscribing anyway, but I try to pay attention, but if something goes on and I gotta, take care of it, I get distracted, but it's working. I'm doing something right. I still have 58. Well, it's only 8:20 here. So yeah, we still got, a good number in chat. I don't know how Kerry does it.
I have a lot of admiration for you.
Why is that?
For you and the other people that do these shows, for them to be able to read the chat and still ask the questions and stuff. You have a little more attention than I do.
Well, if I was paying attention, this wouldn't be on the screen. I don't even know where it is.
Yep. So what else have you done in your life that you don't want to talk about, Russ? So, I'm going to turn this around a little bit, interview a little bit, because I get a feeling about you that there's some stuff that people don't know about you.
And there's stuff that people don't need to know about me.
Yeah, well, how about all those times that you've helped some people?
Well, I've helped a lot of people.
I get the feeling that you've really been instrumental in a few people's lives. That you're one of those that you don't let your right hand know what your left hand is giving away.
Yeah, usually. And I don't know that I'm sure I've touched some people in certain ways, you know, and other people and others, you know. I mean, not everything's going to be positive. I'm sure there's a person or two who doesn't care for me, and, you know, that's unfortunate. And but I am the helping type, you know. I will go out of my way to help somebody. Doing this, you know, what I'm doing now is helping people was an unexpected side effect to this. You know, like Mike Kirkpatrick in chat, you know, he'll tell you him being able to come on and tell a story and vent and talk about it, and, you know, on multiple occasions, and we've become close, and, you know, he'll thank me for, like, changing his life, but I didn't do it. He did it. I just gave him a place to do it, you know. And it's little things like that, you know. I didn't expect you know, it's a really good side effect, or result of what
you
I'm
know
doing.
You're a good example. You're a good example, Russ, and many of the others that are in chat, as I see their names go by over here, they're also good examples of how the creator can use any tool that's available for any purpose. Sometimes we don't understand that we're being used as a tool for good, and maybe we don't need to know that in our lives, you know. But there's others out there that can sense that about another person and will gravitate towards them. Other than Bigfoot Odyssey one time before, yours is the only other channel that I've gone on. And just because I felt comfortable coming on here.
Well, thank you so much.
And I'm sure that's probably why it's attracted a lot of the people whose names I see scrolling through the chat log over here. You know, we're attracted for a reason. Everything has that.
Sure, and you know, and that's, somebody just said that the other day. You know, it's the personality, and, you know, I keep saying, I guess I'm doing something right, and I'm glad. I'm thrilled that people are showing up and having a good time and enjoying it, and we're entertaining each other, and we're getting questions answered, hopefully, you know, if I'm paying attention. And I just love doing the live chats, you know, the live shows. There's just, having that interaction is awesome, and being able to bring people, you know, new stories, and be able to meet people that we see every day in chat, you know. Finally to meet you, I'm honored. You know, I've seen you around for a long time. I've heard a lot of, you know, really good things about you, and you know, I have a respect.
The honor's mine.
Thank you.
I see Shelly. Hi, Shelly. Chick feet. Shelly reads in the chat. I just saw her name pop in there too.
Very good. Chick, hi. Welcome.
Well, you know, it's great because I think that one of the biggest purposes that we have in our whole existence is to be in good relations with all of creation. You know, I believe that Creator gets an opportunity to experience that which has been created through that who he has created. You know, when we become co-creators that way, and we interact with respect for the rest of creation, you know, that's ultimately creates harmony. I'm all about harmony. I'm all about unity. I understand that it's difficult sometimes, but I also understand that, you know, if I'm trying to ford across a raging river and I'm trying to swim it, it's a lot easier to keep swimming to the side and allow the current to take me where I need to land on the bank rather than trying to swim upstream too.
And fight it. Yeah. Just trying to see if anybody has questions. Yeah, I do know that about you. Somebody had told me that you don't do shows, you don't go on people's shows, and I'm really flattered that you would come on my show. I'm glad that I make people comfortable and give them that it's laid back. You get what you see. I'm just.
Well, that's pretty much what you've got with me. The difference is that before I sent you the link, Russ, I did go put my teeth in and I did shave.
Yeah, I think I shaved 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm due. Sawdust Beast, welcome, man. Mark, good to see you. He came on the other day.
Mark.
That was a good show. Yeah, and doing it this way, I think it's pretty cool that anybody can come on, that wants to. I mean, it's kind of risky. Like I was going to put the link in chat and just so anybody could just click on it and come on. You don't know what you're going to get though. But yeah, so far you guys haven't disappointed. There's always someone willing to pop on and make a show out of this, and it's great. I'm so thrilled that you did come on.
Well, spontaneity is really the way life is.
I'm very spontaneous, I should say. Because it's hard to make plans. For me, it's, you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm more spontaneous.
Yeah. A lot of the teachings that I've done over the years revolve exactly around that, choices. We are the product of our choices.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes we make informed choices and other times we make those duh moments,
Yeah.
But they all set something in action.
Yeah, but and hopefully people, realize and learn from the bad choices they've made and realize not to make them again. I
bad choices are lessons.
Yeah, but not everybody learns those lessons. They go through the same thing over and over again, thinking that something's going to be different, and it's tough.
No, that's the definition of stupidity, isn't it?
Yeah, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Yeah, I don't know. There's some really good people out there that go through some bad stuff, and I'm glad that I can be here. If anybody, for anybody, I don't care if you come on just to talk about the fact that your dog had puppies, I'll talk about anything, it's good to have, I'm really happy to be able to put this out, a platform for everybody to come on. I'm babbling.
Well, I think you're doing a good job, because we need to have a place for the ordinary people. Because really, when it comes right down to it, we're all just ordinary people.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what status in life we have. That's the way that I look at it anyways.
Absolutely.
Maybe from 20 years of being an Army medic and, working in the medical field for a number of years after that, I learned that all the blood seems to be red.
Yep.
So we have that difference. Everybody's breathing the same air. We're walking on the same ground. We're drinking the same water.
And that's how I treat people. I try to treat everybody as equals. It doesn't matter who you are. Doing what I do, I deal with a lot of tourists, and we get a lot of celebrities, sporting, athletes, football, baseball, we get tons of, but I treat everybody the same way. I never get starstruck or anything like that. It's just like, hey, what's up? Thanks for doing what you do.
Yep.
I just heard something go off.
It's a basic respect for that which is unique in all of the world. And that's the life that we have. Everybody deserves that basic respect.
Absolutely.
Creator thought enough to bring us into creation, and we must be important enough to acknowledge that respect,
Sure. Just checking out anything else in chat.
I'm looking through there.
Nessie. What's up, Nessie? Good to see you.
You want to ask some questions of Russ? Go ahead and ask him. If you don't, I will.
Feel free. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah, so I'm digging this. I'm having a good time. I prefer, like I said earlier, I prefer the live chat over just making videos. I'm still going to do that once I get out start getting out into the field soon. I'll do a lot more filming and see what we can see. Nessie, they are on, hon. Sorry.
I got shorts and a halter top. I'm an old man. I can get away with
it. That's definitely an East Coast thing. I mean, you can get away with it. You'd be wearing slippers and sitting on the front stoop. That's how much you can get away with that.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's gotten very warm in the Northeast up here this year. I mean,
it's same here.
Warm. Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. I can tell people all day long that I've got Native American blood in me, but they still don't want me to run around with just a breech cloud on.
No, Ben asks, do you ever have any experience? And I'm guessing it's directed at both of us. Ben, I haven't had any Sasquatch experiences yet. I say yet. I'm planning on them, so minor paranormal ghost experiences. I've told my stories a few times, and I'm sure I'll tell them a few more. And you said you didn't, your experiences have been bushes shaking and more circumstantial than actual.
That and picking up on, like I say, I'm sensitive to energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sensitive to energy within areas. I'm sensitive to energies emanating from people. People put a lot of different labels on something like that. There was another occurrence that occurred another time that I was home on vacation or leave from the military. I had decided to go trout fishing, and they have a lot of small little feeder streams. They're spring fed that I used to do a lot of fishing as I was growing up. And one of our neighbors was probably about a half to 3/4 of a mile away on another farm. They were quite old, and they had died. And the farm was sold to a couple that came out from Chicago. And rather than having a dairy farm anymore, they decided they were going to raise those long-haired sheep called mouflon sheep. And apparently they had been having a problem with something killing those sheep. They weren't eating them; they were just killing them. And next to the barnyard where they kept the sheep was an old cemetery that some of the headstones in there were back into the early 1800s. And there was a little stream that run down through there, probably no more than a couple of feet wide. And I used to fish that all the time for those little small brook trout. I used to love it as a kid. So I went back in there to go fishing when I was on vacation. And as I walked in there, I had gone probably 30 yards or so, and they have these things that are called tag alders that grow right up close to the creek banks, and there was just a very thick. I had to force my way through and stick the rod through to find out where the the stream was as I was trying to fish.
Sure.
And as I walked into there, I walked into a wall that literally told me, "Do not come any further." And I'm telling you, it was almost like a physical presence, but it hit me, and it was just like I could feel what was being told me without seeing the words.
Sure.
And like I said, I had fished that many times growing up as a younger kid and a teenager. And for that to happen, I turned right around, walked right back right out of there, and didn't go back in there. But it was after that I had heard that they had been having problems with animals getting killed on that farm. They had never had a problem before, and we had never had any problem with any of our farm animals either. So there had been some changes that have taken place there. So what was it? Don't know. I didn't see it.
Sure.
But I know I didn't want to see it either.
I don't know. It sounds a little I hate to use the word.
Doesn't it sound interesting?
Yeah, very. I was going to say squatchy, but Pappy, tell us another story about the house you grew up in. Haunted? Sorry.
Well, the house that I grew up in, the house itself was probably built, I would say, at the turn of the 20th century. It was probably, there used to be a farm a farm building that stood up on the hill behind it. But that house had had the porch in it, and I know that it was one of those places that when I moved into it, there was still an outhouse there. We didn't have indoor plumbing. And I think I was 7 years old when I moved into that house. There was no insulation in the place. It was heated by wood stove. And, but there had been families raised there. My stepdad, he had gotten the house when he and his father had bought this little farm out earlier probably in the 40s. So there had been people that had been living there before, and there were people that died in the house too. So there were just some rather odd things. It was like that house was like a lightning rod, and I say that because it would get struck by lightning frequently.
Oh wow!
And oh yeah. We used to get terrible thunderstorms come in off Lake Ontario. They would roll in. They would be boomers, boy. And that house, for some reason or another, it would get struck. Well, it wasn't so bad when there wasn't a whole lot of electrical appliances and stuff in there. But after we moved in, the house got struck one time. It blew every socket in the wall right out of the wall.
Jeez, I wonder what
got
caused
hit another time, and well, I don't know. I think we used to think it was the big trees that were growing out front that seemed to attract that lightning. But
sure, if there's no other trees around in the area, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it even after those trees were cut down because the town came through and widened that road up, and they took those big trees out, and they were huge. Those trees. They were what were called yellow poplar trees or balm of Gilead trees. They would get huge. And the trunks themselves were probably 6 foot in diameter. So once they took them out, we figured the problem was done. But that didn't stop the lightning from striking the house and, blowing up Mom's electric stove. Or it struck one time when my stepdad had come home from work. He used to work for the town driving snowplow and trucks. And lightning struck his car when he was in the driveway. And we could hear him honking his horn. We looked out and you could still see the sparks flying on it. But it would just seem to attract those sort of things, you know. And then odd things
bizarre.
would happen in the house. Yeah, yeah, odd things would happen in the house. You know, as I told you, you know, I had seen the figures in my room, and I used to find my pillow on the floor in the morning, and I slept in my own room. And one night I woke up and I could actually feel the pillow being pulled from underneath my head. And I literally grabbed a hold of the pillow and was holding it, and I could feel the resistance of it being
pulling back. Wow.
And oh yeah, that was another night of covering up my head with just my nose sticking out.
The old blanket shield.
Yeah, I know. They protect you from everything, right? You know. But yeah, those things would move around the house, would get moved around the house, or come up missing, and then show up in odd places. You know, just little stuff like that. You know, like I say, nothing. You know, to make you you know, want to vacate the place and throw a match as you leave. You know.
No, but that's those little things are cool. You know, I mean, if you pay attention to them and you believe in them and you appreciate them as you're growing up, or you know, that's pretty fascinating, you know, rather than some people would get scared with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, my brother, for years, he is like a go-between, very similar to others that you spoke with, that, you know, will be contacted by police departments and things of this nature because of their abilities. Well, I have a brother that's like that. And, you know, so he kind of validated the fact that land that was there had some activity on it. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
You know, there was some activity there, you know.
So he was a
even
strong,
after my
strong, sensitive, you know, medium, psychic.
Yeah, he's very strong. Yeah.
That just fascinates me.
I don't have it. I don't have it anywhere near to the extent that he does, nor did I ever try to develop it. You know, I didn't. It wasn't until after I had retired from the military and I actually started doing active energy work. You know, I'm a Reiki master teacher, and do energy healing and that sort of stuff. Plus, that in combination with some of the ceremonies and stuff that I've done over the years, has elicited certain spiritual responses. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
You know, so I've done house cleansings and house blessings and had some rather interesting things that have occurred during those times. So I know that stuff is very real, even though you know, in our day-to-day life we don't normally see it. You know, it's just we're slightly out of phase with it.
I did a cleansing just before I came on the show. I mean, I have my smudge bundle, and you know, because I don't know what I'm going to deal with when, you know, what's going to be discussed or what's going to get. So I do a cleansing and say a prayer before the show, and just a little.
That's
protection.
A smart thing to do. You know, lately we've been hearing a lot of people talk about their interactions with the big guys. You know, and you know, over the last few months and stuff, you've been hearing more and more about the supernatural aspects of it. Some people call it the woo, that sort of stuff. You know, that's just different. That's just different frequencies that are now starting to come into resonance. People are starting to become aware of them. Whether their resonance is coming up, or the big guys are dropping theirs enough that they can be known, they're certainly letting us know that they're there. You know, so those possibilities are now probabilities in my book. You know, and because of that, I think that it behooves everyone, if you're encountering these things, to be able to put some form of protection around yourself, because the energy that you put out is the energy that's going to be attracted to you. You know, that's the law of fuel, if you will. You know, if you have a gas truck, don't put diesel in it. It don't run good. You know, So if you want to get good coming back into your life, that's the type of energy you put out. I think these creatures can sense that energy.
I think so too.
And yeah. So what you do as far as creating an energy safe space around you before the show, that's exactly what people need to do when they interact with the spirit world. You put that safe space around you, but in a non-threatening way, and allow yourself to be open to receive that same type of energy that you're putting out. Sure. And you'll find many times that the experiences will be tolerable. Let's put it that way. They can be surprising.
Let's see. I'm trying to pay attention to chat and guys, if we're missing questions, I really do apologize. It's either that or you guys just aren't asking them. But feel free if you guys got any questions, because now's the time, because we are at, we're an hour and 45 minutes. Another long show. I feel, guys, bad for the people who come on afterwards and like, oh crap, an hour and 45 minutes. I don't want to watch that show. It's too long.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty.
Yeah. So am I. I don't go back and watch my own shows. I just lived it.
I think I'm losing my attention span.
Although I did go back. Somebody pointed out a show I did a Bigfoot Odyssey, and they were like, really, you better go back and watch that. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, I went into that show unprepared. I was running late. I was rushed, and live and learn. It wasn't one of my better shows.
I went back and looked at the show, and I said to myself, "Who is that?" Because in my mind, I don't look like. Obviously, I'm showing up.
So Ray wants to know, Pappy, have you experienced Kundalini? I'm not sure.
Kundalini. Are you familiar with that term, Russ?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That deals with it's actually probably an Indian or a Tibetan term that's utilized for what they call the serpent energy that runs up our spiritual centers within our body. We have different spiritual centers within our body. At least I believe that, and I've practiced that for years. And but the Native American side of me says we're made up of two types of energies. One is earth energy, and the other is sky energy. And the earth energy comes up, and the sky energy comes down. And those two pass each other. Okay. Well, as they pass each other, we have these little centers within us, our energy centers, and they create a serpentine path as it goes up and as it comes down, and it's that movement of one going up and one coming down around these energy centers that cause these energy centers to spin.
Okay. And
they put energy out and they bring energy in. Okay, so that's a very quick lesson overview, if you will.
Sure.
The Kundalini energy, okay, that's that root chakra energy that rises up through it, and it's strong, okay, to rise up to connect with the sky energy, okay. And the important thing is that it has to be filtered through the heart center. That's your center of balance, okay. If everything that you do in your life is filtered through your heart, in what you say and what you do and your actions and stuff that you're taking, you're probably going to be better able to make more balanced choices in your life. Okay, so that's the area that we try to assimilate, that energy coming up, that's rising energy, and that energy that's coming down, because the most sacred spot of anyone here in chat, anyone that's listening to this or will hear this later on, the most sacred spot in the universe is within you, because you are the center of the universe. Okay, so have I experienced Kundalini? I have experienced what some people would call spiritual ecstasy, yes. And it's unlike most experiences. Some people actually have that experience facilitated by meeting some of these cryptids. And there's a couple of people, like, I won't mention their names, but you've talked with them. You've chatted with them before. Some of the people have actually had this experience. And it's surprising when it happens because you don't expect it from the source.
Sure.
You know, but that source is within these creatures, these created beings, is common to the sources within us. And it's that connection that we're able to make that is surprising, because we think we're isolated, but we're not. We're never isolated, except in our own minds.
Unfortunately. Just saying.
Well, there's I've run into some too that I'd like to box away, you know.
Sure. Let's see. True Bell. She said no show's too long with Pappy on it.
Uh-oh.
All right, here's an interesting little question from Oz Squash in Australia. Pappy, what is your feedback from the Mark B interview? That would have been on Kerry's show. Yeah.
Mark went across a threshold that a lot of people do. Okay. These beings that are out there, okay, not all of them are benign. Not all of them are neutral. Okay. And not all of them are bad. They just are. Okay. And some of these, this is just my feelings and my beliefs. Okay. And I can't give you a statement of fact that it is what I'm saying. However, I do know that if you turn a light bulb on, it not only illuminates your path, but it illuminates the pathways for others. And a light bulb will attract not only those that are attracted to the light because of its brightness and helping them illuminate, but it also attracts those that are ready to prey on those that are attracted to the light. There are spiritual things out there. I call them interdimensional raiders. They can't produce the type of spiritual energy that we have, but they can feed off it. You know, and I believe that to be very, very true. Okay, and I think that's where the stories of demon possession come in, stories of perhaps malevolent poltergeist activity, things of this nature. Those are things that feed off those other feelings we have, the emotional feelings. Can't prove it, okay, but it's just a feeling. I mean, if they elicit that feeling in you, and it's fear, and they're feeding off the fear, they're going to go to where the food is.
Sure.
Just like the big guys are going to come in where the food is, you know?
No,
so
it makes sense.
I think that
if that's what they're feeding off, that's what they're going to create.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think in Mark's case, you know, and I've heard some of the other guests on other shows and stuff talk about the different types that are out there and this sort of thing. You know, we look at human beings, we're not all good. You know, there's a lot of bad out there, you know, and there's some really evil out there. There's some out there that are not normal. Okay. No. As above, so below. I mean, why can't that not be a possibility? You know, quantum mechanics and quantum physics is telling us that what we see is not really what's happening. You know, so you can't close the door to possibilities. In Mark's case, I think you know, there was a doorway open of opportunity there, that something you know, something stepped in.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think it comes right down to the inner strength. You know, had he not stepped away when he did it, the outcome could have been entirely different. But once again, going back to sometimes we're the pinball and sometimes we're the bumper or the paddle that moves the pinball. it was those people that were around him that bounced him off in a direction to allow his healing to start. But those things are out there. They're real. We have to be aware of that. There's a possibility of them being there. Just like you smudging before coming on your show. You do that for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's protection.
Don't let our guard down. Don't necessarily go out there and be timid or be afraid. You can go out there with the wonder in your eyes of a child as you have the opportunity to learn new things.
But respect it.
But you have to have the wisdom of an adult to say things can go wrong, so you need to take precautions.
Sure.
I won't get into any specifics because everybody is different. That's what makes interactions on interpersonal relationships so fascinating. It's a great field to get into as long as you take people out of the equation. Everybody's different.
Sure. And you have to accept that, and that's what makes the world go round.
And the big question is, what are they?
They are a few different things out there that
how do they manifest themselves to you? Would it be different if they manifested themselves to me? We've been told that they can mimic and do this and do that, and each person could be seeing something different. One of the true things that I know is that if I invite everybody that's in this chat to come and sit around a campfire with me, your view of the fire is going to be different than mine.
Sure.
Some people's going to be getting the smoke all the time.
That's so true. Yeah, it's Jamie. Their pants are on tonight. I don't know if you were around for the first show that I did, the live show. Nessie came on and said, "Hey, does Russell know or does Moog know it's a pants off day?" So I took my pants off.
I've pretty much been with you since you started.
Right on. I haven't done it since. I'm sure I'll do it again. Too funny.
Yeah, we have some great people in these chats. It's just been
we do. It's they're family.
Yeah.
For being into chat, long before I started this show, we have become family. And that's why I kind of did this show, is to meet my family and hear from you guys and share your stories and let everybody else in chat meet each other.
Well, the nice thing about it is, you can look out there into the chat, and we're talking to people from all over the world.
Exactly.
All different backgrounds, all different ages, all different cultural beliefs, different religions, politics. We won't go there.
No.
Okay. And the one thing is that we have much more in common than we have differences.
Absolutely.
And I would much rather focus on that which we have in common. And like attracts like, and we'll get more and more of these type of people coming into your chats in the future, I'm sure, because the energy's out there, and by and by it comes back, and we're all connected on that spider web, if you will.
So Cashy wants to know, Pappy, Two Bears, and Mogi Monster, do you remember being visited in a dream by any family members who have passed?
By any family members, not in the context of seeing their face or being, knowing that it was them. Okay. Do I believe that I've been contacted by others within my family, whether recently or in the distant past in my family? I believe through dreams with the messages that are there rather than actually seeing them. I have not dreamed of any of my dead relatives. Okay. However, I have had visions of native names, at least the animal of the native name of relatives that have crossed over. Okay. Specifically my brother. His native name was, he was a great dreamer. He would have wonderful lucid dreams. His name was called White Wolf by the Water. and he died of the human equivalent of mad cow disease.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
That had occurred because he had kidney failure very early in his life, because he had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and the treatments that they put him on did a number on his kidneys. So he was on dialysis for years and years and years, and many of the transfusions, perhaps one of them was contaminated. But he had told me about dreams that he was having about fishing. He always used to love to go fishing, and he was sitting at the edge of the stream and he was fishing, and he said this white wolf came up and was sat down beside him, and I says, well, that's interesting. I says, how often does that happen? He says, I dream about it 2 or 3 times a week. His white wolf comes in and just sits there, watches me fish. And so my aunt, who is also crossed over, came up for a family clan gathering, and she was the clan's medicine woman, woman's medicine lodge, and she did naming ceremony. She named him White Wolf by the Water. He went, as he started going downhill with his as his disease progressed. He was able to get a kidney transplant, believe it or not. That was fine. So they took him off dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
But as this other disease progressed and progressed and progressed, he got sicker and sicker. So he told me, he said, I got to tell you, he said, my dreams changed. I said, what dreams? He said, my white wolf dream. I says, really? I says, in what way? He says, well, me and the wolf were fishing. He says, and we heard noise behind him. We turned around and looked. He says, there was a great big bear coming out of the woods. And bear is my totem. And bear is a strong healing symbol. Well, anyways, I says, what did the bear do? He said, he was growling at me. And I says, in what way? He says, like threatening. He says, but the growl turned to words. And the bear said, feed me. He says, so I gave him one of my fish. He says, and the bear come over and sat down next to me on my right side. So now he had a wolf on one side and a bear on the other side. And I immediately knew that he was going to be getting a call pretty soon from the medical. And see, he was on the waiting list for a kidney transplant then. And he got a call. They had a kidney for him. Wow. And he went in, had the procedure, and he did not reject the kidney or anything. And he was actually quite good for that. So I believe that, and I've seen that white wolf since he's crossed over a couple of times. So I believe that, my relatives have contacted me in that way. Okay. And it might just be because of my cultural beliefs too. And I don't discount anybody seeing them as they were, perhaps even younger, or, in some other manner, because I've heard the same within my family. Other relatives talking about it. So.
I've dreamt my mother a few times. There weren't messages involved in it, but it was my mother who made her presence known in the experiences that I've had, in the paranormal experiences. One was on the day she died. Another was 17 years later. But it was definitely my mother. Those were my experiences, were actual experiences, not in dreams. I mean, I've seen her in dreams, but it wasn't anything significant that I can remember.
I've seen people that have crossed in dreams as well, but there was no message there.
Yeah,
not that I could ascertain, but I'm not really a good one on remembering my dreams sometimes anyways.
No, I gave some thought to maybe doing like a dream diary and just keeping a journal of my dreams. But that's, I don't know. I don't want to wake up and write shit down, you know.
I got to put my glasses on, turn the light on.
Really. It's too much hassle.
I can't type on a keyboard anymore without making words that I can't understand.
Well, I think we are going to call this a night. We are at 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight in chat. You guys are awesome. If we missed questions, I apologize. Just reading some of these comments. And Pappy, you're welcome back anytime, man. And thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Well, you may want to rethink that because, as you can tell, my mother was the wind. I can talk.
No, that's great. I'd rather have someone who can talk than trying to do it myself.
Well, if you ever want me to talk like a first sergeant, let me know.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Wait, what? 2 more? What is that, Tony? Good job. Oh, thank you, Ben. All right, I think we're good. Oh, 2 more hours. Dude, my ass couldn't handle 2 more hours on this seat. Trust me.
Yours and mine both.
Oh, shit.
My bladder,
yeah, that too. All right, guys. Well, I'll be back on Thursday. I don't know what we're doing. Might be, a little bit the same. But again, next week, next Tuesday, I am working on a show. Should be a good show. It's going to be more Arizona based, Bigfoot or Dogman or whatever. We're going to get into more of the Arizona cryptids with the guests I have coming on. I've got the one guest, and I'm sure I can talk a few others into coming on. So I'll announce that on probably Thursday. Let you guys know what's up. Gives me time to put something together, a thumbnail, and advertise it. But yeah, guys, if you like the show, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, share, do what you guys do. We'll see you Thursday. Pappy, again, thank you so much. If you hang out, I'll get right back to you. Just hang out backstage real quick, and I'll say goodnight.
Blessings.
Oh, sorry. He did say blessings, everybody. Rex, thank you. Yeah, it's just some things that I had around, everything behind me. He said he liked the background. They were gifts, the picture of the sunset it was my first sunset ever in California. I took that picture. Somebody put it in a frame, gave it to me. The calendar, everything behind me was a gift. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, and thanks again, guys. We'll do this again on Thursday. I hope you guys had a great time tonight. I did. Really good turnout tonight. To my moderators, thank you so much. Bell, Mike, Big Rob. Still Crazy Chris wasn't here tonight. Who else did I miss? Bomber, thank you. And we'll see you guys soon, all right? You have a wonderful evening or night now. It's morning, I'm sure, in some places. Thanks, guys. Peace and God bless.